Okay, and now that I've got the buttons on the wheel they're supposed to go on, with the rod they're supposed to go on, you can see this is really nice and solid. I'm going to go ahead and slide this one in. It's just so simple to slide this in all the way till it stops, and then perfect. I think I'm going to try, this is the only thing on the bottom that lights up, and since this looks like it's a good fit, even though it doesn't quite match, actually looks kind of cool, I think. I'm going to leave it like that as a contrast, and so I can have the light up there, because this wheel doesn't have lights at all, the other wheel. So then this will attach on here like this, and we'll be good to go. First I'm going to have to pull this off of the hub again and screw in the 4 screws from the rear to hold this plate on. And then after I do that, I'll slide it back on, and I'm going to attach the 3 screws that go on the inside here of the wheel axle, and then it'll be done. And hopefully everything inside is working the way it was before. Okay, I'm reattaching. I've attached the 4 screws on the back to affix this faceplate. Now I'm reattaching the 3 screws that go inside the spline of the wheel and attach the wheel to the base. And I would suggest, if you have a screwdriver that's metallic, to use that. I'm going to screw these down tight because actually getting, again, this is going to be difficult to pick up on camera, but getting this screw down in, I'm going to attempt to do it here. Wish me luck. Getting it down in there, whew, without dropping it is tricky, especially if you don't have a magnetic screwdriver. This wheel's harder. The Turbo S wheel's harder because you have less room to work with inside there. But I meant the Turbo S rim, excuse me. This is the Turbo S wheel now, which was the whole point of this exercise. Alright, so I'm going to finish this up and test it out, put the other wheel back together, and it should be good to go. And there we go, all done. A Fanatec Porsche 911 Turbo S wheel, and the base cover in the orange and the Alcantara rim from a GT3RS have been replaced. So we have the button that lights up now that's going to show us start or select. Unfortunately, these buttons from the Turbo S that light up don't fit quite right, so we don't have lights on these, but there are LEDs behind there. So if we can get some buttons made, they will light up, but otherwise this will be fine. We've got the 2 features up here, the second button on the new wheel, and everything's put together solid as a rock. So you can see this is the one that doesn't have the permanent USB connection now. It's got the Turbo S's Type A connection on here. So this is good to go. And I'm going to put the other wheel together and test them out. Here's the 911 Turbo S shell, or rim rather, with the 911 GT3RS circuit board and base. So this is the PC and PS3 compatible wheel now, but it has the leather rim, just like the Turbo S came with. As I mentioned before, I have to put these buttons on because they're the only ones that are going to fit solidly. And unfortunately this wheel won't light up like the other one did, but this is my second wheel, so it's okay. And one note, when I was putting this circuit board back and the other one, I noticed that a couple of these little rubber button covers had come loose, and I thought they might be extra because I checked all the buttons and every single button has one on there. So I wasn't sure where they came from, but I think I just figured it out. They're probably off of the buttons that are on the rear of the circuit board for the paddle shifters. So it's possible, I've already secured this all down, so it's possible one of these may have fallen out on there. So just make a note of that if you put yours back together. So I'm going to go ahead and reassemble this, and all I have to do is put these two, move this cable out of the way, put these two right up here, grab one of the rods, slide it in, no tools needed, nice and solid. Okay, and then again I want to make sure that cable's not stuck under there. Okay, and we do the same thing over here. Move that cable out of our way. Put these two so they're lined up over the button faces. Find the other rod that holds them in. Must not be quite lined up. There it goes. I think. There it goes. Okay. So those are functioning perfectly. And we'll put this little guy up here. That might not stay. There it goes. It kind of squeezes in a little bit. Then we'll put, this is from the the GT3RS wheel originally, but since there's no lights on this, it doesn't matter. Now let's make sure it fits. Yep, just like the other one did. Here's this. I don't know if this has a proper orientation. Ooh, it does look like I need to put this one on first though, because it has a little lip that goes up under. Okay, that's on. Then this will go on. There we go. So that's on there. There's my sort of hybrid two wheels. This. Okay, and last but not least, we've put together the GT3RS wheel in the Turbo S rim, and you can tell that by the GT3RS button that's down here. Looks like everything's fitting properly. I've secured this. Unfortunately, you have to secure this panel from the back, which means you can't attach the wheel to the base because it has to slide out to get to those screws from the back. And now, unlike the GT3RS, which had a big opening here to work with, we've got this little guy to get these 3 screws in, and they're probably about that deep in. So this is again where a magnetic screwdriver and a little bit of luck comes in handy. So I'm going to have to use both hands on this, but wish me luck, and get these 3 screws tightened down, pop the little logo on, and project done. Okay, and this is the GT3RS wheel placed in the 911 Turbo S rim. So you can see you've got the permanent USB connection of the GT3RS, and this is the same wheel guts, if you will, that I've been using for the last 6 months or a year. So it's just been displaced and put in a different rim now. These will not light up because there's no lights in here, and this is my little reminder that this is really a GT3RS. So that concludes this part of the project. I'm going to hook everything up and make sure it's all functioning properly, and then it should be good to go.